Hi guys, yeah, Andy N. I always say in the house, and it is really slow. So, but anyway, I want to do something different today because I wanted to do a quick announcement about writing in general, really, because a few of you know over the last few years or so, I've been slowly branching out into doing flash fiction and prose, and next year it's going to be probably headed that direction even more. But after I finished off the sixth book last April, Haiku of Life, I've been taking it a bit quieter, really, and basically it's stuff published. And I wanted to sit down and try and finish off quite a few poetry books that have been dangling around years in some cases. And I spent basically 18 months actually getting a number of these books ready. I wanted to show you some covers today, really, and I'm going to do a reading next week anyway. But I wanted to show you these first of all today, so just to give you an idea of what's coming up at the moment, really. Now, the first one I want to show you today is this book here. And this one, which hasn't come very clearly, but anyway, it is called Dock Leaves. Now, I wrote this book originally, well, a few of you know, again, like I used to work in the back office at court. I wanted to try and do some quite fictionalized stories of looking at justice in a very, very different way. This book here in the background is it's a collection of 50 of those very, very short little pieces. It was originally wrote from the 2012 to 2016 territory. And I was out of respect for my court job, I wanted to hold it back after I left there. And I felt it was a good time in the last couple of weeks to bring that book out. And I'm going to do another reading, like it's a later date, to let you hear some of the pieces in it, because they are quite humorous stories, really. Now, the next book I've also just bought out as well. This one did take a bit of fiddling around, but you'll see why in a moment as well. Because it was like, when you're doing a lot of like this sort of stuff, I've done like to date, like I said, 6 books. I wanted to sit back and spend some time actually going back and looking at things from the past. And it's a partial reveal cover for Selected Poems Volume 1. And I wanted to see how the book would stand up if I picked out selected poems from all 6 of my then poetry books. Obviously, that was Return to Countdown, The End of Summer, The Birth of Autumn, The Streets of All We Could See, Haiku Underground, and Haiku of Life. And I felt it was a good time, certainly the past couple of months, to spend some time to sit back and looking and reflecting on these books and basically seeing how it all worked, where I've come from, where I'm going to go next. That book is out now, as is Dock Leaves from Amazon and a few of the usual places. Now, the next book I've done is also this one. And this, again, like I said, is this one, next one, is going to be out in about 2 weeks' time. And this one's been dangling on for ages. And it's called, you see with the snow in the background, it gives a good clue, really. And it's the book's going to be called In the Mist of Winter. Now, over time, obviously, when I did the second poetry book back in 2015, The End of Summer, I always wanted to write 4 seasonal poetry books. The End of Summer obviously went just after I started 2011 when I got diabetes. I wanted to use to look back at the summer of my life because I was nearly 40 at that time. And the Birth of Autumn is what came next. And as you can see from the background now, this is going to be my winter book, which has been in development for about 6 years now, and it's just took time. So this one's going to be out in about 2 weeks' time, and hopefully in a couple of years I'll have the spring book done as well. But also, that's now it is complete as well, and will be coming out certainly at the start of next year. Is going to be this book, which is going to be called, it's a partial exclusive, this one as well. It's going to be called From the Diabetic Ward. What this is about is, I've always wanted to write a book, and this actually nearly got released with a press that came, I will just call them Goya Press, because they never did very much, what I can see. But this book nearly came out then back in 2016, a year or so after I did the End of Summer book, and it didn't happen. So, but I kept working on the book over time, and first of all, hand in hand for a couple of years with the Mr. Winter book. And certainly when we got into lockdown in 2020, both of those books got put on hold because, as with obviously most of the rest of the country was at the time, I had to do something different. I was really under huge amounts of pressure. Now things are starting to calm down for myself. I wanted to get these 2 books done. From the Diabetic Ward, Volume 1, which shall be out in January, is basically talking about my life from 2011 right up to 2016, when it took me 5 years to come to terms with living with diabetes. It was not an easy time in places, that wasn't. So this is going to be a very frank book about this, probably the most frankest book I've ever done. So that'll take me up to January. Now, there's other books I've not got covers for yet, so I can't really reveal them yet. But one that's in mind for next year, obviously now I've done Selected Poems Volume 1, is going to be this book, Selected Poems Volume 2. Now, with Selected Poems Volume 2, I wanted to do a companion book to Selected Poems 1, really, where that book obviously went on about all my selection of poems from the first 6 books. This one, Volume 2, is going to be a selection of poems from the first book I did, joint book with Jeffrey Armour back in 2011, A Means to an End. I've done 6 split books with my friend Nick Ambrister. And I've done 5 where I was in my wife and manager as well. I wanted to go back and pick out a few poems or extracts from all of these books. And like what I've done with Selected Poems Volume 1, there will be exclusive or rare and unreleased pieces of it as well. So, as that all go, unfortunately. So, when I've got these books out of the way, I've got another 2 books basically I've been dangling over years, and I'm trying to get them complete. And then I'm going to be honest and say probably 2023, maybe 4. I'm probably going to move into full-time doing novels and flash fiction and prose more than poetry, but poetry's always been there for me. So anyway, guys and girls, that's it for today. So take care. See you all later.